speaking of, things in the past, right? App is really primarily driven by what I would say basic ad units, which are basically either just a basic stitchel or a static ad unit. But there's so much innovation happening, and I know we've personally taken huge strides in that, right? So we're making our own rewarded videos, we're making playable stitchels, we're making inner stitchels or inner scroller ad units, all kind of unique ad units like that. So as Google thinks about this, what kind of ad units and capabilities are available through the Google's platform that we should be thinking about? Not only if people use our company, but if they choose to go to Google themselves directly, what things are you doing that we should know about?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I alluded to a couple of those formats in a question or two before, so I don't want to repeat myself there. But I think in addition to those core formats that we have, there's two things I'd touch on. One is that we're continuing to innovate within. So the interstitial ad experience of 5 years ago is very different than it is now. Like, I remember using my phone and a full screen ad would pop up and it would completely crash my device, or it was a really unenjoyable experience. You'd have to exit the app, re-enter it. Like, that's no longer the case. We're really committed to having clear countdowns for users. So you're going to make sure that you know when the ad's ending, that there's always a clear close button, that there's a lot of brand quality and brand safety controls. So I think that the general, those kind of I guess core formats, we're still trying to improve on them. There's a lot of product work that's going on to make sure that those are better. And the other thing that I'd say is trying to think of what the future of monetization is. My team always laughs at me. My favorite format is by far rewarded. I'm a nerd. But I think that there's a world where you can create really seamless experiences for users where you have a transaction of value, right? A user's watching a 30-second video and you're able to give them a premium experience in their app and they feel happy. It's just a great exchange, I think, as opposed to the way ads are transacted today that, are definitely a little bit more scattered throughout, you have less control over. So I think that introducing those types of premium formats that come with premium CPMs and have an opt-in user potential is an area where Google's really investing. I think, we're always rethinking our core business too. So when we look at banner units, right, those are the most basic ad units that happen in mobile app. That being said, last year we had rolled out something called an adaptive banner, right? And that adjusts to the width and height of your device. And so it makes sure it's a very clean, seamless, good looking ad experience, as opposed to it, being too small where you can't expand it and you can't see what the text says on the screen. And so I think we're always trying to think, what our ad units look like, how is this impacting our user experience, and how can we make that better? To the overall ecosystem, right? There's advertisers, there's publishers, and there's users. I think Google is making decisions that are, very user first and trying to figure out how can we benefit everybody in this. So personally, Robyn thinks rewarded is the future. Google thinks that there's quite a few other pieces that are also the future, including, full screen ads, swipeable ads, interscroller ads, as you had mentioned. And we have a whole really innovative product management team that's only focused on new formats. And so those are just some of the ones that we already have out. But as Jayson mentioned, we're releasing new things quite frequently on the app side.
It's kind of fun. We take for granted, all these things just work. But we're constantly faced this, at Playwire, because think about it, how many different mobile devices there are, how many different sizes there are, how many operating systems, how many different versions of that. So it's OS this and OS that, and somehow all this seems to work. And it's pretty amazing. Prior to asking Nick a question, I just want to remind everyone, if you have any questions, we want this to be interactive. There is a Q&A section on the application here. Please ask questions. We want to answer them. We've got direct access to Google right now. So if you have any questions that that you want answered, now is the time to ask them, because they're hard to get on the phone. Trust me. So Nick, I just think about the kind of successes we've had around ad units with publishers. What are the more advanced ad units that we've had? Do you have any stats we can talk about, or anything that we've done that are interesting?
I was just going to say that I think, and not to be just playing into Robyn's hands here, but rewarded video really is the winner. For us, it's such a natural fit with a lot of publishers that we work with who are in gaming. We have a lot of heritage in gaming, and so it's unsurprising that we're finding a lot of success with that ad unit over there. But it's not just because of the nature of the unit itself. It is the relative ease of integrating it. It is the fact that the work has been done to make it a consistent sort of experience. Look, as somebody who's always thinking about not just what cool thing can we do, but what cool thing can we do that our publishers can easily actually put into place and that's not going to cause them problems. I love coming across a unit like the rewarded video that within the app environment is indeed easy to integrate, isn't prone to lots and lots of issues. I actually think this is an area where app, we've been talking, I feel kind of bad. We've been dissing on app a lot in terms of like its innovativeness, you know, oh, it's behind, whatever. On the rewarded side, app's way ahead. And if anything, Playwire has been taking cues from the way that app can work with rewarded video and trying to bring some of those rewarded video concepts back into the web and desktop environments. So a little shout out there for any of you who are the web side of things and you're interested in rewarded video. We've got some.
I'm gonna one step further and thank Chess because I see Adam's on. So Adam, rewarded video.
Yeah. The one thing that I'd caveat onto there is, you know, as an app developer, monetization is one of the things that you're focusing on, but you're also looking at like, how's our user engagement? How's our retention? What are the reviews happening in our app store? And so I think the reason to which I say I think like rewarded is awesome for what I'd mentioned, but there's also, you know, trade-offs when you're monetizing, right? Like adding in ads might have people complain about some things sometimes, and that's going to happen. It's few and far between. But when you think about rewarded, right? Like people are choosing to opt into this format. They're like, I want to watch this. And so we've actually seen, which is like unprecedented, when people adopt that format, you actually see peaks in retention. Like people are using your app more, your session length time goes up, people are happier, and it can also help drive your in-app purchase or your subscription revenue or anything else that you're working on by giving people access to content. So I think that, you know, it's definitely, to a lot of the points Nick had mentioned, a little bit more innovative than web in that regard. And I think, you know, if we were to have this panel again in a couple years from now, I'd be really interested to see how that's adopted as, you know, kind of a value exchange.